As the richest man in the world and owner of X, Elon Musk wields significant influence which he used to support Trump's 2024 presidential campaign. Unfortunately, not every member of Trump's cabinet agrees with Musk's over-involvement with governmental affairs, and Trump may be forced to choose between Musk and his entire cabinet soon. Trump's reaction to the recent explosive clash in the White House between Marc Rubio and Elon Musk shows that he may have to make that choice sooner or later. What exactly happened at the cabinet meeting? Let's find out. Explosive clash in Trump's cabinet. A few days ago, President Trump found himself in an unexpected position defending Marc Rubio during a heated cabinet meeting. The tension in the room was high as billionaire Elon Musk, known for his bold and often controversial statements, openly disrespected the Secretary of State. This explosive encounter unfolded in the heart of the White House. You see, Musk had been leading the charge on reducing government waste and inefficiency, and his unconventional approach had been making waves in Washington. As the meeting got underway, Musk locked horns with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The two men were at odds over Rubio's management of the department he oversees. Musk, never one to mince words, accused Rubio of not firing anyone in his department. Rubio, taken aback by Musk's assertion, quickly fired back. "That's not true," he said, his voice rising in defense. "Over 1,500 State Department officials have taken early retirement in buyouts." He then added with a hint of sarcasm, "Perhaps you'd like me to rehire all those people just so I can make a show of firing them again." The room fell silent, with all eyes fixed on the two men. It was clear that the tension between Musk and Rubio had been building for some time, but what wasn't clear was how this clash would play out. Musk took to the offense with Rubio's response and belittled him, telling him he was good on TV, implying that Rubio wasn't good at governing or anything else. President Trump, sensing the tension, intervened, trying to smooth things over. "Marco, you're doing a great job," he said, his voice calm and reassuring. He then turned to Musk, saying, "And Elon, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but let's work together to get things done." But despite Trump's efforts to defuse the situation, the tension between Musk and Rubio remained high. It was clear that this was more than just a simple disagreement. It was a clash of ideologies, a battle for control. Mr. Rubio had allegedly been mad at Mr. Musk for weeks, ever since his team terminated an agency that Mr. Rubio was supposed to control, the United States Agency for International Development. The shutdown of the USAID came as a shock to the international community. The agency, which had been a cornerstone of US foreign policy for decades, was suddenly and unexpectedly shuttered. According to sources, Musk's team had been critical of USAID's management and spending practices. They argued that the agency was bloated and inefficient, with too many employees and too much waste. Musk's team recommended that the agency be shut down and its functions absorbed by other government agencies. The recommendation was met with resistance from Marco Rubio and other officials, who argued that USAID played a critical role in promoting US interests abroad and providing humanitarian aid to those in need. Despite the opposition, Musk's team pushed forward with the plan to shut down USAID. The agency's employees were given little notice, and many were left scrambling to find new jobs or transfer to other agencies. The shutdown of USAID was widely criticized by foreign policy experts, who argued that it would damage US credibility and influence abroad. Many also expressed concern about the fate of the agency's employees who had dedicated their careers to promoting US interests and helping those in need. Musk's role in the shutdown of USAID was widely reported, and it sparked a heated debate about the billionaire's influence over US foreign policy. Some praised Musk's efforts to streamline government and eliminate waste, while others criticized his lack of experience and expertise in foreign policy. To understand why some of Trump's cabinet members may not be happy with Musk, we need to look back to a few months before the explosive clash. In November 2024, when he was still presidential candidate, Trump announced his plan to create a new department focused on eliminating government waste and inefficiency. Despite the controversy, Trump moved forward with his plan, and in January 2025, he signed an executive order establishing the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE for short. What really caught people's attention was the man Trump chose to lead DOGE, none other than Elon Musk. Musk's approach to government reform was unconventional, to say the least. He was known for his bold ideas and his willingness to challenge the status quo. As Musk settled into his new role, he quickly made waves in Washington. He was a man on a mission, determined to leave his mark on the federal government. But not everyone was happy with his approach. Marco Rubio, in particular, had been butting heads with Musk over his department's reforms. Also, federal workers had been protesting outside the Office of Personnel Management, opposing DOGE's leadership and its impact on job security. The protests were a clear indication that DOGE's reforms were not without their challenges. But what was really at stake here? Was DOGE's focus on efficiency and cost-cutting a genuine attempt to reform the government, or was it just a thinly veiled excuse for corporate interests to exert their influence over public policy? These were the questions that were being debated in the halls of power, and they were not going away anytime soon. As the debate raged on, one thing was certain: Doge was going to be a major player in the world of government reform. Whether you agreed with their approach or not, it was hard to deny that Doge was making waves, and with Elon Musk at the helm, you could bet that things were going to get interesting. The question on everyone's mind was, what would happen next? Would Doge's reforms be successful in reducing government waste and inefficiency, or would they lead to unintended consequences? Right now, the only cabinet member who has been bold enough to face Musk head-on is Rubio, and the tensions are already rising. Trump tried to quell rumors about the discord within his cabinet by posting about how Musk and Rubio have a great relationship on Truth Social. However, the public doesn't believe this, and Rubio may truly not like the direction the administration is taking. Rubio's history of criticizing Trump. The early stages of Marco Rubio's criticism of Donald Trump were set against a backdrop of political upheaval within the Republican Party. As the 2016 presidential primaries loomed, the GOP found itself at a crossroads, with Trump's populist narrative challenging the traditional conservative values championed by figures like Rubio. A rising star in the party, Rubio was seen as a beacon of establishment conservatism, advocating for policies rooted in fiscal responsibility, strong national defense, and social conservatism. Trump, on the other hand, burst onto the scene with a brash, unorthodox approach that resonated with a significant portion of the Republican base. His rhetoric was bold and often controversial, appealing to voters disillusioned with the political status quo. This stark contrast in political ideologies set the stage for a public rivalry that would captivate the nation. Rubio wasted no time in voicing his concerns about Trump's candidacy. He questioned Trump's conservative credentials, pointing to his past support for liberal policies and his inconsistent stance on key issues. Rubio also took aim at Trump's business practices, labeling him a con artist and warning voters about the dangers of electing someone with questionable ethics to the highest office in the land. These criticisms were not just political posturing, they were rooted in a genuine belief that Trump's brand of populism threatened the core principles of the Republican Party. Rubio's attacks were calculated and precise, aimed at undermining Trump's credibility and rallying the conservative base around a more traditional vision for the GOP. In response, Trump deployed his signature style of personal insults, dismissing Rubio as Little Marco and questioning his stamina and leadership abilities. The exchanges between the two were often heated, with both men trading barbs on national television and social media. The intensity of their rivalry was further exemplified during a debate in Detroit, Michigan, where Rubio mocked Trump's infamous small hands comment. Outside the debate stage, Rubio continued his offensive in interviews and campaign rallies. He questioned Trump's ability to lead, citing his lack of experience and erratic behavior. Rubio warned that Trump's inflammatory rhetoric could have dangerous consequences, both domestically and internationally. He urged voters to consider the long-term implications of a Trump presidency, framing himself as the more stable and experienced alternative. The turning point in Marco Rubio's criticism of Donald Trump came in the aftermath of the 2016 Republican primaries. As the dust settled, Trump emerged as the presumptive nominee, a reality that forced many within the GOP, including Rubio, to reassess their positions. The fierce rivalry that had defined the primaries gave way to a new phase in their relationship. Rubio, who had suspended his campaign after a disappointing performance in his home state of Florida, faced a critical decision. Despite their contentious past, the political landscape demanded unity within the Republican Party to challenge the Democratic nominee, Hillary Clinton. Recognizing the importance of party cohesion, Rubio began to soften his stance on Trump, a move that surprised many of his supporters. In a notable shift, Rubio announced his support for Trump, stating that while he had significant disagreements with the nominee, he believed it was crucial to prevent yet another Clinton presidency. This endorsement was a strategic calculation, reflecting Rubio's understanding of the broader political dynamics at play. He emphasized the importance of maintaining a Republican majority in Congress and the potential impact on the Supreme Court, framing his support as a necessary compromise. The change in Rubio's approach was also influenced by his own political ambitions. By aligning with Trump, Rubio positioned himself to maintain influence within the GOP and potentially shape policy decisions. Trump, for his part, welcomed Rubio's endorsement, recognizing the value of having a prominent Republican figure on his side. The two began to collaborate on key issues, with Rubio leveraging his foreign policy expertise to influence the administration's agenda. Rubio's involvement in the Trump administration's policy discussions also allowed him to advocate for initiatives that aligned with his conservative principles. He played a key role in shaping the administration's stance on issues such as Cuba policy, advocating for a tougher approach that reflected his long-standing views. This influence demonstrated the practical benefits of their collaboration, where Rubio could leverage his expertise to impact policy decisions. However, this collaboration was not without its challenges. Rubio faced criticism from some quarters for aligning with Trump, given their past rivalry and the president's controversial rhetoric. Balancing his support for the administration with his own political identity required careful navigation, as Rubio sought to maintain his integrity while advancing his policy goals. Despite these challenges, the partnership with Trump ultimately bolstered Rubio's political career. It positioned him as a key player within the GOP, capable of bridging the divide between the party's establishment and populist factions. This role not only enhanced his influence in the Senate, but also set the stage for potential future leadership opportunities within the party. Fast forward to 2024, Trump reclaimed the presidency and chose Rubio as the Secretary of State. Rubio's confirmation as Secretary of State was swift and unanimous, with a 99-0 vote in the Senate on Inauguration Day. As he took the oath of office, Rubio's wife. In his first speech as Secretary of State, Rubio outlined his priorities, including curbing mass migration, securing America's borders, and promoting American national interests abroad. He also vowed to take a tough stance on China, Cuba, and Iran, countries that he believed posed a threat to American security and values. As Rubio settled into his new role, he was greeted with a mixture of admiration and skepticism. Some praised his strong stance on foreign policy, while others questioned his lack of experience in diplomacy. But Rubio was undeterred. Rubio proved to be a formidable Secretary of State, using his charisma and persuasive skills to build alliances and negotiate deals. He was a frequent presence on the Sunday talk shows, where he articulated Trump's foreign policy vision with clarity and conviction. With Marco Rubio by his side as Secretary of State, Trump has tackled a wide range of issues, from foreign policy and trade to national security and government restructuring. One of Trump's first major moves was to sign a slew of executive orders aimed at reversing many of the policies put in place by his predecessor. In all, Trump signed 26 executive orders, repealing 67 Biden-era orders and 11 presidential memoranda. These orders covered a wide range of topics, including border enforcement, climate initiatives, and DEI programs. Rubio, meanwhile, was busy making his mark on the State Department. One of his first major successes came when he announced the release of American citizen Anastasia Nufa from a prison in Belarus. Nufa had been held captive for months, and her release was seen as a major victory for the Trump administration. Rubio also made headlines when he met with Panamanian President Mulino to discuss China's growing influence over the Panama Canal. The meeting was seen as a key moment in the Trump administration's efforts to push back against China's expanding global reach. In addition to these foreign policy successes, the Trump administration also made significant progress on the legislative front. One notable achievement came when Trump signed the Laken-Riley Act, making it the first new law enacted in his second administration. The law was aimed at improving the lives of Americans with disabilities, and its passage was seen as a major victory for advocates. Trade and tariffs were another major area of focus for the Trump administration. Trump imposed tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, prompting retaliatory measures from these countries. The move was seen as a key part of Trump's efforts to protect American industries and jobs. Finally, national security was a major area of focus for the Trump administration. Trump ordered airstrikes in Somalia, targeting Islamic State militants, and announced plans to develop an Iron Dome for America. The move was seen as a key part of Trump's efforts to protect American interests and keep the country safe. Overall, Donald Trump's second presidency was marked by a wide range of significant actions and achievements, from foreign policy and trade to national security and government restructuring, with Rubio by his side. After navigating their tough relationship over the years, Musk may just be the one who comes between both of them. Since he declared for Trump, Musk has been everywhere. After Trump returned to the White House, the billionaire became emboldened, raising questions about who is really running the show. Trump gives Musk significant power. Trump's comeback to office was one of the most significant moments in American political history. After losing office to Joe Biden, Trump vowed to return to office and started securing endorsements. In 2024, at the height of his campaign against Kamala Harris, Trump got a key endorsement that changed everything. He was endorsed publicly by Elon Musk. This surprise move was announced on his social media platform X, where he shared a video of Trump with blood on his face, pumping his fist after a shooting incident at a rally in Pennsylvania. Musk's endorsement was a significant departure departure from his previous political stance. He had voted for Democratic presidential candidates Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden in the past. However, in recent years, Musk had become increasingly critical of Biden's policies, particularly on immigration and electric vehicles. As Musk's endorsement of Trump spread like wildfire on social media, it marked a turning point in the presidential race. With over 189 million followers on X, Musk's influence was undeniable. His endorsement had the potential to reach a massive audience and shape public opinion. The news of Musk's endorsement shocked the political landscape. Many were stunned by Musk's decision to support Trump, given their vastly different backgrounds and ideologies. Musk's history of making inflammatory comments, including anti-Semitic remarks, had also raised eyebrows. As the news broke, some Tesla customers took to social media to express their outrage and disappointment. Many announced that they would be boycotting Tesla's products in response to Musk's endorsement. The backlash was swift and intense, with many questioning Musk's judgment and values. Despite the controversy, Musk remained steadfast in his support for Trump. His endorsement marked a significant moment in the presidential race, one that would have far-reaching consequences for the candidates, the parties, and the country as a whole. Musk's relationship with political figures has been equally varied. He has met with leaders from both major political parties in the United States, offering insights on technology and innovation. His pragmatic approach often aligns with policies that support technological advancement and entrepreneurship, regardless of political affiliation. One of Musk's notable political engagements before now occurred in 2017 when he joined the Trump administration's advisory councils. However, he later resigned from these positions in response to the United States' withdrawal from the Paris Agreement on climate change, citing the need for global cooperation on environmental issues. Musk's political statements and actions reflect a focus on long-term goals and a willingness to challenge the status quo. It is this same ideology that may have influenced Musk's decision to endorse Trump. In the aftermath of these events, the political landscape has been shaped by ongoing discussions about democracy, governance, and the role of technology in society. The Biden administration's policies on climate change, infrastructure, and technology have been central to these discussions, with varying degrees of support and opposition from different sectors. One of the key areas of focus has been the administration's approach to climate change and sustainable energy. With initiatives aimed at reducing carbon emissions and promoting clean energy, the Biden administration has sought to position the United States as a leader in global environmental efforts. However, these policies have also faced criticism from those who argue that they impose excessive regulations on industries and stifle innovation. For Elon Musk, whose ventures are deeply intertwined with sustainable energy and technological advancement, these policy debates are of particular significance. Musk's companies, including Tesla and SpaceX, operate at the intersection of technology and environmental sustainability, making the regulatory environment a critical factor in their success. As such, Musk's views on government policies are often shaped by their potential impact on innovation and entrepreneurship. Another significant development in Biden's political landscape showed growing interest in technology regulation and the influence of tech giants. With increasing scrutiny on issues such as data privacy, antitrust concerns, and the power of social media platforms, the role of technology in society became a focal point of political debate. Musk, who is known for his advocacy of free speech and minimal regulation, expressed concerns about government overreach in the tech sector. The intersection of technology and politics were highlighted by the rise of new communication platforms and the changing dynamics of political discourse. With these broader trends looming, Donald Trump's political resurgence was a game changer for Musk. Despite his loss in 2020, Trump maintained a strong presence in the Republican Party, with a loyal base of supporters and significant influence over the party's direction. For Musk, the decision to endorse Trump may be influenced by a combination of strategic considerations and ideological alignment. Trump's policies on deregulation, tax cuts, and economic growth may resonate with Musk's vision for fostering innovation and entrepreneurship. Additionally, Trump's stance on issues such as space exploration and infrastructure development could align with Musk's long-term goals for his companies. Elon Musk's business empire spans multiple industries, each with its own set of challenges and opportunities. At the heart of Musk's business interests is Tesla, the electric vehicle giant that has revolutionized the automotive industry. Tesla's mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy aligns with global efforts to combat climate change. Under the Biden administration, policies promoting clean energy and electric vehicles have been prioritized, potentially benefiting Tesla's growth. However, Trump's policies during his last presidency focused more on deregulation and energy independence, which included support for traditional energy sectors like oil and gas. While Trump's approach may seem at odds with Tesla's sustainable energy goals, his emphasis on deregulation could appeal to Musk's Musk's desire for a business-friendly environment. Musk has often criticized regulations that he perceives as hindering innovation, and a political climate that favors reduced regulatory burdens could be advantageous for Tesla's operations and expansion. SpaceX, Musk's aerospace company, is another critical component of his business interests. SpaceX has achieved remarkable milestones, including the development of reusable rockets and successful crewed missions to the International Space Station. The company's long-term vision of colonizing Mars requires substantial investment and support from both the private and public sectors. During Trump's previous presidency, the administration demonstrated strong support for space exploration, including the establishment of the Space Force and increased funding for NASA. This alignment with SpaceX's objectives could be a factor in Musk's endorsement, as continued support for space initiatives would be crucial for the realization of Musk's interplanetary ambitions. The alignment or conflict between Musk's business interests and Trump's policies is not solely determined by direct benefits or challenges. Musk's endorsement also reflected a strategic calculation about the broader economic and political environment. He believed that Trump's second presidency could potentially create conditions favorable to entrepreneurship and innovation, aligning with Musk's vision for a future driven by technological progress. Reports suggest that Trump's campaign got more than $75 million from Musk and his endorsement, so it wasn't a surprise when Trump put Musk at the helm of affairs in his new Department of Government Efficiency. However, pundits and lawmakers worry that Trump has given Musk too much power. It seems as though Musk was exercising a significant amount of influence over Trump's policy decisions, and some were even referring to him as President Musk. One notable example of Musk's influence came when he tweeted his disapproval of a congressional bill involving governmental funding. Trump's team quickly followed suit, with Vice President J.D. Vance tweeting a post on behalf of Trump, expressing their dissatisfaction with the legislation. The bill was eventually revised and rejected by the House, leaving many to wonder about the extent of Musk's role in shaping Trump's policy decisions. Some lawmakers were openly critical of Musk's influence, suggesting that he was wielding too much power behind the scenes. Representative Rosa DeLauro told CBS News that Musk was an outside influence who believes he is President Musk. Others echoed her concerns, arguing that Musk's influence was undermining the democratic process and concentrating too much power in the hands of a single individual. Despite these concerns, Trump's team continued to downplay Musk's influence. They insisted that the president was still firmly in charge, and that Musk was simply one of many advisors who were helping to shape his policy decisions. Every day, it becomes increasingly clear that Musk was playing a major role in Trump's inner circle. His influence can be seen in everything from the president's tweets to his policy decisions, and it was beginning to raise serious concerns about the state of American democracy. The recent clash with Marc Rubio has only made things worse, and Trump may be forced to choose between his entire cabinet and Musk if he doesn't check his powers soon.
The aftermath of the presidential debate has been a very controversial scene, as Trump has constantly claimed to have won the debate.
And I think it was the best debate I've ever personally that I've had. We're getting polls that show 92 to 6, 88 to 11.
However, the whole world watched Kamala Harris rip into Trump on different instances, and the flash poll results clearly showed who people thought won the debate hands down. While Kamala has asked for another debate, Trump has decided not to put himself through the embarrassment again. And just like every other thing about the Trump campaign, his reason for declining is absolutely ridiculous. Real reason for Trump's refusal. Following the presidential debate, Snap polls suggested that a majority of viewers believed Harris had outperformed Trump. Despite this, Trump claimed victory and declared that there would be no further debates. This statement left many people puzzled and questioning his motives. Fast forward to the 23rd of October, when CNN extended an invitation for a second debate. Vice President Kamala Harris, the Democratic Party's candidate, gladly accepted the invitation. Her campaign team argued that since Trump claimed to have won their previous debate, he should accept the challenge for another one. Harris-Walt's campaign chair Jen O'Malley Dillon emphasized that Americans deserve another opportunity to see Harris and Trump debate before the November election. She pointed out that it would be unprecedented in modern history for there to be just one general election debate. Debates offer a unique chance for voters to see the candidates side by side and take stock of their competing visions for America. On X, formerly known as Twitter, Harris expressed her eagerness to debate Trump again. She hoped that Trump would also take part, adding to the mounting mounting pressure on him to accept the invitation. CNN had planned for the potential debate to follow the same format as the one it broadcast in June between Trump and President Joe Biden. Biden's faltering performance in that encounter led some Democrats to question whether he should be the party's candidate for the election. After weeks of uncertainty, Biden announced he would not seek re-election, paving the way for Harris to become the nominee. As the date for the second debate approached, Trump made a shocking announcement at a rally in Wilmington, North Carolina. He told his supporters that voting had already started, making it too late for another debate. He reiterated his claim of victory in their previous debate and accused Harris of seeking another round of sparring because she's losing badly. This statement left many people stunned and questioning his motives. At the Trump rally, some voters expressed their disappointment at the prospect of no second debate. Trump supporter Steve Castellano said, "If you're not afraid, why not? They both did great at the last debate." He suggested that the moderators were a little biased at the last debate and proposed some conditions for a possible rematch. Castellano said, "They should debate again at a network Trump chooses. What I would really love is a good podcaster to moderate. I'd really love Joe Rogan to do it." Harris holds a slight lead over Trump in national polling averages, and North Carolina could be crucial for his hopes to return to the White House. Since their first debate, a majority of national polls suggest that Harris has made small gains with voters. Trump insisting that he won the debate is a bit comical because the whole world watched the event quickly spiral into chaos, with Trump's performance being widely criticized for its disorganization and numerous falsehoods. Yet, Trump wasted no time in declaring himself the winner. The morning after the debate, Trump appeared on Fox and Friends and boldly claimed victory. Trump didn't hold back in his criticism of ABC News, calling it the most dishonest news organization and describing the debate as 3-1 and a rigged deal. He even went as far as to say it was one of my better debates, maybe my best debate. Kamala Harris's campaign, on the other hand, immediately called for a second debate. They left Philadelphia eager for another showdown, and Fox News even offered to host it. But Trump seemed to backtrack on his earlier eagerness for multiple debates. He suggested that another debate would just give Harris another chance to attack him. Trump's reluctance didn't stop there. He criticized the idea of having Martha MacCallum and Brett Baier as moderators for a potential second debate. Instead, he said he would consider right-wing pundits like Sean Hannity, Jesse Waters, and Laura Ingraham. "I didn't think Martha and Brett were good last night," he added, as the Fox and Friends hosts tried to steer the conversation elsewhere. The lead-up to the debate was filled with drama. There was squabbling over when, where, and how they would meet. Trump had initially called for multiple debates, including one on Fox News on September 4th, which Harris declined. Then, Trump threatened to drop out of the ABC News debate, and the campaigns argued over the rules. The main issue was whether each candidate's microphone would be muted while the other spoke. Harris's team had fought for unmuted mics, but eventually gave in. Even with her volume turned down, Harris tried to interrupt Trump multiple times. At one point, Trump shut her down, saying, "I'm talking now, does that sound familiar?" This was a reference to Harris's 2020 debate with Mike Pence, when she famously said, "Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking." Harris's campaign released a statement calling for a second debate. Fox News offered to host one moderated by Martha MacCallum and Brett Baier, while early in-person voting gets underway in multiple battleground states on October 9th in Arizona, October 15th in Georgia, or October 16th in North Carolina. MacCallum said during the network's post-debate coverage, "Seems like the American people would love another opportunity to see these candidates. It's been such a short window, and they deserve as many opportunities as possible." But Trump appeared to reject the network's offer, saying, "I wouldn't want to have Martha and Brett." He said he probably wouldn't agree to any more debates, but would consider right-wing pundits as moderators. Fox and Friends co-host Brian Kilmeade defended the anchors, saying they would do a phenomenal job, and telling Trump, "You would find them extremely fair." On Wednesday, Harris campaign spokesperson Quentin Fulks affirmed on CNN that Harris is open to a debate in October. He added, "But if I were Donald Trump, I would not want to debate Kamala Harris." Trump also claimed his victory at the debate during his Arizona rally that happened a day after the debate. Trump's claim of victory was a central theme of his speech, as he painted himself as the clear winner of the debate. Despite mixed reviews from political analysts and the media, Trump insisted that his performance had been superior. He portrayed Harris as weak and ineffective while positioning himself as the strong leader America needed. This narrative resonated deeply with his supporters, who were eager to believe in their candidate's triumph. In a particularly shocking moment, Trump accused Haitian immigrants of eating animals in Springfield, Ohio. This unfounded and racist smear has been challenged by town officials and has only served to inflame tensions and attacks against the Haitian community. The rally took another dramatic turn when Trump announced that there would not be another debate. "There will not be another debate. We don't need it. We won big," he stated. This bold declaration left many wondering if he was trying to avoid another potentially contentious showdown with Harris. His supporters, however, seemed to take his words at face value, cheering loudly in agreement. Trump's refusal to attend a second debate drew a derisive response from the Harris campaign, with Chair David Plouffe stating in a tweet, "At long last we discover his spirit animal, the chicken." This jab was a direct hit, resonating with many who viewed Trump's refusal as a sign of weakness. The Harris campaign continued to press for another debate, with spokesperson Brian Fallon telling Politico, "The vice president is clear she believes there should be another debate, and we do not consider this to be the last word from him, is just working through his feelings after losing very badly Tuesday night." During his presidency, Trump often shied away from press conferences and interviews with journalists who were likely to ask difficult questions. Will he cave to the pressure and agree to another debate, or will he continue to avoid the confrontation? But before then, let's recap the major moments at the presidential debate to understand why Trump is claiming to have won the debate. The first debate. Kamala Harris's performance during the U.S. presidential debate against Donald Trump was nothing short of a political masterclass. From the moment she stepped onto the stage in Philadelphia, it was clear she was prepared to take on the challenge head-on. Harris needed to reintroduce herself to the American public in her new role, defend President Joe Biden's record, and differentiate herself as a candidate. She accomplished all these goals with remarkable poise and precision. Harris set the tone for the night right from the start. Confidently crossing the stage to where Trump stood, she extended her hand and cheerfully introduced herself. This simple yet powerful gesture immediately established her as a composed and confident leader. Throughout the debate, Harris frequently seized the initiative, making Trump visibly uncomfortable, a rare sight for the former president. One of the most striking aspects of Harris's performance was her ability to launch barbs that compelled Trump to exaggerate or make ludicrous claims. A prime example of this was when she quipped about the crowd sizes at his rallies. This provoked Trump to boast about his events being the most incredible rallies in the history of politics, setting off a rhetorical meltdown from which he never truly recovered. Harris, known for her sharp wit and strategic thinking, decided to take a detour. After addressing the immigration question and blaming Trump for tanking a congressional border bill, she shifted gears. "I'm going to actually do something really unusual," she said, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch." The audience was hooked. Harris continued, smirking as she listed some of Trump's common digressions, like windmills and the fictional killer Hannibal Lecter. Trump's eyes narrowed and his head cocked to the left, sensing an attack. "And what you will also notice," Harris said, her voice dripping with sarcasm, "is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. The one thing you will not hear him talk about is you." And just like that, Trump was off to the races, talking about himself. Trump, ever the showman, couldn't resist defending his rally attendance. "We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics," he declared, his voice booming with pride. But he didn't stop there. In a bizarre twist, he started talking about cats. The audience was stunned. Harris, on the other hand, looked like she was having the time of her life. She threw her head back and laughed, while ABC moderator David Muir tried to steer the conversation back to immigration. Harris, ever the strategist, let Trump dig his own hole. She projected the deep concern of a disappointed relative and laughed for a moment. But Harris wasn't finished. She brought up the Republicans who had endorsed her campaign, like Liz Cheney, a former congresswoman and relentless Trump critic. Trump's reaction? He yanked his head skyward and pretended to laugh, unconvincingly. Senator J.D. Vance first made the claim about Haitian immigrants on Monday, saying, "It's coming to your city next." The Trump campaign even released a news statement recounting these falsehoods. However, Vance appeared to backtrack on Tuesday morning in a social post, saying his office had received many inquiries about the false claims. Despite the lack of evidence, social media platforms have been flooded with memes and AI-generated images of cats in support of Trump. This has only added fuel to the fire, making the rumor even more widespread. This exchange was a masterclass in political baiting. Harris knew exactly how to push Trump's buttons, and he fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Instead of focusing on the issues, Trump got sidetracked by his own vanity and bizarre conspiracy theories. Harris's most cutting line of the night came when she recited a list of Trump advisors who had become his harshest critics. Trump argued he'd fired them all, setting up Harris to deliver a devastating blow. She pointed out that the former president had been fired by 81 million Americans Americans in the last election. This line not only reinforced her message that it was time for Americans to turn the page, but also reminded viewers of Trump's false claims that he won the 2020 election. It was a moment that encapsulated Harris's ability to blend sharp critique with a forward-looking vision. Throughout the debate, Trump found moments to attack, pressing Harris on the Biden administration's role in approving the Nord Stream pipeline between Russia and Europe. However, his anger often seemed to overstep the mark. He made false and ludicrous claims about windmills and solar power, babies being executed after birth, and Haitian migrants eating family pets in Springfield, Ohio. Such conspiratorial tones, while unchallenged in his rallies, seemed out of place and unpresidential on the debate stage. Harris often openly laughed at these claims, further highlighting the absurdity of Trump's statements and maintaining her composure. The media coverage following the debate suggested that Republicans in general, and Trump in particular, felt the night did not go their way. Trump and his supporters trotted out a variety of explanations and excuses, pointing to supportive online and unscientific polls, attacking the moderators, and even floating a baseless conspiracy theory that Harris knew the questions in advance. However, Harris's preparation and performance were no conspiracy. They were the result of meticulous planning and a deep understanding of the issues at hand. Stepping back, the debate underscored the true stakes of the election. For a democratic system to survive, candidates have to be willing to lose. As Harris pointed out, Trump continuously indicates that he cannot recognize a loss when he has suffered one and is not willing to play by democratic rules and norms, both written and unwritten. This fundamental difference in their approach to democracy was laid bare for all to see. In the hours following Kamala Harris and Donald Trump's first and possibly last in-person face-off, political commentators and unofficial polls seemed to largely crown her the winner of the night. A CNN poll revealed that debate watchers declared Harris a winner by a comfortable 63-37 margin. A YouGov poll had Harris winning by 43-28 among registered voters. Even pundits at Fox News, the conservative TV network, agreed she bested Trump. But did Harris actually win, or did Trump just unravel, making her the winner? Al Jazeera checked in with half a dozen experts on debating, political speech, psychology, and communications. Some said she successfully tapped into his weaknesses, while others noted that her strategy aimed at unsettling him, but came at the cost of failing to tell voters more about her own policies. Tamika M. Robinson, a professor of rhetoric and public advocacy at Hofstra University, said, "She won the debate, and not just by default." Still, Robinson added, Trump did himself no favors by failing to stick to the issues. Trump needed to talk about his policy ideas more, rather than relying on leaning into the same dangerous rhetoric about immigrants and reproductive justice, she said. He was correct in pushing VP Harris on the issue about the tariffs, and that President Biden did not discontinue these. If he would have stuck to his success in certain policy decisions, the debate could have gone differently. Tammy R. Vigil, a media professor at Boston University focused on political communication, also stressed that while Harris exploited Trump's weaknesses to her advantage, she failed to offer specifics about her policy plans. Harris won the debate because she knew exactly what buttons to push to help Trump express himself in the manner that is most revealing of his character, Vigil told Al Jazeera. His content is very rarely fact-based and often relies heavily on urging emotional rather than rational responses from viewers. He did the same last night. Trump's reaction to the debate is almost comical, especially after he ripped into Biden for his terrible performance during their debate in Atlanta. He is now standing in the same position Biden was before he stepped down for Kamala Harris. Sore loser. During the recent debate, Trump found himself on the defensive, a stark contrast to his previous position of strength. Republicans were left scrambling to pick apart Harris's performance. Senator Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia critiqued Trump's approach, suggesting he should have focused more on Harris's policies over the last 3.5 years. The debate fallout was immediate, with many Republicans insisting that Trump still had time to refocus on key issues like the economy and immigration. Trump's post-debate antics didn't help his case. He made a surprise appearance in the post-debate spin room, insisting he won the night but also blasting ABC moderators as unfair. He even speculated about punishing ABC by taking away its broadcast license or denying access to its reporters. His comments were a tacit acknowledgement that he didn't achieve what he wanted against Harris. Harris, on the other hand, was jubilant. She told rallygoers in Philadelphia that it was a great night, and she even won the endorsement of music and cultural star Taylor Swift. Political commentators and strategists from both sides agreed that Harris bested Trump. However, there was no immediate broad shift toward Harris among viewers, and Trump's campaign pointed to news reports featuring undecided voters who weren't swayed by her performance. A flash poll conducted by CNN revealed that about 6 in 10 debate watchers said Harris outperformed Trump, while about 4 in 10 said Trump did a better job. Interestingly, the vast majority of interviewed debate watchers said the event wouldn't affect their votes in the election. Perceptions of the two candidates remained largely unchanged. Despite Trump's public insistence that he won the debate by a lot, the reaction from Republicans was almost unanimous. They were not impressed. Chris Christie, the former Republican governor of New Jersey, who had previously helped Trump prepare for his 2016 debates, didn't hold back his criticism. He told ABC she was exquisitely well prepared. She laid traps and he chased every rabbit down every hole instead of talking about the things that he should have been talking about. This is the difference between someone who is well prepared and someone who is unprepared. Whoever prepared Donald Trump should be fired. The disappointment didn't stop there. Guy Benson, editor of the conservative website Town Hall, took to X to express his dismay. He said, "Trump was unfocused and poorly prepared, basically accomplished exactly what she wanted to here. I suspect the polls about the debate will show that she won it." Benson's words echoed the sentiments of many within the Republican camp, who felt that Trump had squandered a vital opportunity. Congressional Republicans were equally vocal about their disappointment. They criticized Trump's inability to discipline himself and press home key policy issues. One House Republican, speaking to The Hill, expressed his frustration, saying, "I'm just sad. She knew exactly where to cut to get under his skin. Just overall disappointing that he isn't being more composed like the first debate. The road just got very narrow. This is not good." Well, only time will tell. But with supporters walking out of his rallies, things are not looking up for Trump.